sir.
You're up.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Thank you all for being here. My name is Christina Casotis. I am the CEO of the Allegheny County Airport Authority, and we oversee Pittsburgh International Airport and Allegheny County Airport. I want to start by thanking you all for being here, welcoming you, and also recognizing some of the elected officials who are here. Joining us, Senator Nick Piscitano, Representative Rob Matzey, Representative Mandy Steele, who is the Vice Chair of the House Energy Committee, Representative Latasha Mays, Sam DeMarco, representing Senator McCormick, Dave McCormick's office, and some notable attendees, Acting DEP Secretary Jessica Shirley, and my former boss, former county executive, and the current SPC director, Rich Fitzgerald, along with so many across industry, labor, and business that I cannot name you all, so please forgive me for that, but thank you for being here. I want to start by acknowledging that this is a really tough time in my industry and in aviation and for our country. We're saddened and shocked by the tragic plane and helicopter collision last night and the loss of life. Our prayers go out to the families of those who are on the plane, on the helicopter, as we mourn them. Our thoughts are also with our colleagues at Washington Reagan Airport and at Dwight D. Eisenhower Airport in Wichita, as well as with American Airlines and all of the first responders who have been involved in the incident response. It is hard work. It's also a stark and somber reminder of why safety is at the core of everything we do. It's why we train, it's why we practice, it's why we prepare. And for us, we will always, as we do, keep our focus steadfast on doing all we can to provide a safe, secure environment for the traveling public, our airline partners, our stakeholders, and our staff. For everyone in aviation globally, resilience is a key part of public safety. That includes energy resilience. It's one of the reasons why we built the first in the world microgrid that powers the airport with on-site natural gas and about 10,000 solar panels. It allows us to be able to operate when other traditional systems are down, and it improves our resiliency. Our success with the microgrid and our focus on energy has allowed us to partner with companies and organizations that share that transformational vision, and with governments. And that includes our efforts to produce sustainable aviation fuel on site here at Pittsburgh International Airport, including, increasing SAF, and especially hydrogen production in the U.S. is a necessary first step to reduce carbon output and meet the industry, the global industry's needs, while increasing resiliency. And we can be the place right here in Pennsylvania where real energy solutions to world problems are developed. Pittsburgh International has pursued multiple pathways for on-site production of SAF, including through the very important partnerships with CNX and Key State Energy. This work will drive the economy. Job growth, use of existing feedstock, unparalleled technology, and all of the logistical ingredients needed. The development of SAF allows us to work toward deeper decarbonization of the region and improving overall air quality. Pennsylvania, particularly southwestern Pennsylvania, has a long legacy in energy innovation, and the Commonwealth continues to be a top energy producer. But we got to ensure that we continue to look for the next thing, allowing us to innovate and grow to drive progress. So I'm very excited to hear from Governor Shapiro about his energy plans. I'm sure we all are. And Governor, we look forward to continuing to work with you and with the legislature on this important issue, and we hope you will consider us a partner ongoing in the work that you're doing. So ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. It's not every day you get to be introduced by the Pittsburgher of the Year, right? Congratulations to you on all your success. I want to begin on the same note that Christina did. Today is a somber day in America. Obviously, this tragic incident in Washington, D.C. has caused us all to pause and pray. And Lori and I send our prayers to the families of the victims. We salute and thank the first responders for all of their extraordinary work to quite literally go into the freezing cold water to try and see if anyone could be rescued. And we just want to lift everyone up in prayer and be there for them in this challenging time. As in the case of any other catastrophe or emergency across the country, be it in North Carolina or in California most recently, I have already pledged the full resources of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to support and assist in any way that is needed in this incident in the Washington, D.C. area. And I know you'll all join me in prayer and consolation to those who are affected. Today, I wanted to be back here in Allegheny County to talk about the next chapter in Pennsylvania's long story of energy leadership, one that began, as Christina alluded to, about 3 centuries ago, when one of our founding fathers and a predecessor of mine as governor, Ben Franklin, flew a kite in a storm, and he literally sparked some of the most extraordinary research on electricity in human history. It all began here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that story of energy leadership that began about 300 years ago has continued throughout our history as a Commonwealth. From Franklin's kite to our coal mines to our oil fields in western Pennsylvania, that has helped fuel the Industrial Revolution, which created good jobs, lifted people out of poverty, powered the middle class, and led to the creation of the American labor movement. When fascism threatened freedom overseas, it was our Commonwealth that produced the energy that made the arsenal of democracy the most powerful manufacturing base in the world. And today, we're proud to be the second largest energy exporter in the entire United States of America and one of the most important energy producers in the entire world. All the leaders here in Western Pennsylvania recognize that. We're damn proud of that. Our energy leaders, our labor leaders, our economic and environmental leaders, all of whom are assembled here today, appreciate that history. Democratic leaders, Republican leaders. Hell, we got the head of the chamber and the head of local labor unions standing together here for this announcement in Matt Smith and Darren Kelly. I know that Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, Congressman DeLuzio, and all the other leaders who are assembled here today understand that history and are proud of it, as does Senator Piscitano and Representatives Matzey and Mays and Steele and all the others who join us here today. I'm back here in Allegheny County at the Pittsburgh International Airport to announce my plan to secure our Commonwealth's energy future, building on that great legacy. A plan inspired by Franklin's discovery and the hundreds of years of energy leadership that has come from Pennsylvania. The Lightning Plan, as it will now be known, is one to spark our energy sector, create thousands of jobs, and lower the cost for consumers. I've said this time and time again. You've heard me say it over and over again. I am an all-of-the-above energy governor. I believe we've got to take advantage of all kinds of energy production if we want to truly lead. That's why I have been so focused on our grid run by PJM and getting them to reopen their interconnection queue so we can get more energy resources onto the grid. They've been too darn slow. It's time for PJM to speed up their work. When I got wind that this year's auction would potentially be the highest ever, that's the price that's paid by ratepayers, because PJM was not making the changes that I wanted to see, I filed a lawsuit to protect Pennsylvanians from higher prices and less generation. Because without those changes at PJM, ratepayers across PJM states were ready to face a $21 billion price hike because of PJM's decision. I sued them, negotiated with them, and just yesterday was able to announce that we were able to stop that $21 billion hike and hold down costs for consumers going forward. Listen, we understand that in this process of saving $21 billion, that we need to do more to get more energy out on the grid. It's not enough just to be able to say to ratepayers, we stopped you from getting an average of a 30% increase on your bill. We need more generation here in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, right now, PJM is only one piece of it. Without action from our legislature, Pennsylvania can't fully capitalize on our strong position that other states are moving on and trying to catch up to us on. Other states have put new policies in place that protect and create energy jobs, spur innovation, attract investment in data centers and EVs and much more. And they're doing it all in a way that protects public health. Pennsylvania, it's time for us to be more competitive. It's time for us to act. We need to take some big and decisive steps right now, build new sources of power so Pennsylvania doesn't miss out. Last year, my administration put forward initial parts of this vision for our energy future. Today, I come back to announce the entirety of the plan. Our vision is educated by an historic coalition of industry leaders, labor unions, consumer advocates, and environmentalists. I hope you will pause and take note of who is here today. Just assembling that group required great work. For years, members of that group refused to talk to one another or talk past one another. Today, as a result of our hard work over the last couple of years, we are now communicating and we're rowing in the same direction because we all want the same thing. We want to be more competitive. We want to create more energy sources, more jobs, and more freedom all across Pennsylvania. We've set the table of progress here in our Commonwealth, and we are ready to get big things done. And unlike those who are on the extremes of these conversations, who'd prefer to just complain rather than making progress, we have brought all of these people together around common sense solutions, things that unite us as opposed to things that have divided us. So let me walk you through our lightning plan, a 6-part plan that will increase energy production, bring down energy costs, speed up permitting time so we can get these projects built quickly, and grow our economy. First, we're going to start by revamping some of the tools that we have created to invest in projects to generate more power here in Pennsylvania. Because when we generate more power, we generate more freedom and more economic opportunity. Before I was elected your governor, lawmakers in Harrisburg passed a series of tax credits called the PA Edge. That was designed to bring more companies from key sectors in energy and manufacturing together. But since those programs were started a few years ago, our Commonwealth has not awarded a single dollar of a PA Edge credit because these programs that were created in the past, quite frankly, are not flexible enough and not nimble enough to meet the needs of growing our energy sector. We've got to fix that, which is why next week in my budget address, I'm going to call on lawmakers of both parties to make changes to the PA Edge to ensure businesses can actually take advantage of these credits that are on the books. Because if we don't do this, we're leaving billions of dollars on the table that could attract historic investments to the Commonwealth. And it means that we're losing out on countless new construction jobs and clean energy jobs. The Sustainable Aviation Fuel Project right here at the airport is a perfect example of that. With an updated and improved PA Edge, the Commonwealth could support this proposed partnership between Key State Energy and CNX Resources to produce lower emission jet fuel while creating up to 3,000 new construction jobs. This would be huge. We need to get this done. We need to reform the PA Edge process. And that's the first part of our plan. Here's the second part. My plan is going to help cut through the red tape and get new energy projects off the ground quickly by streamlining the siting process through a single state authority. Pennsylvania is one of only 12 states in the nation without a state board tasked with reviewing and approving large energy projects. Major energy producing states like Texas and Florida, even Ohio to our west, have siting boards that allow the state to have a say in how and where their energy is produced. And Pennsylvania, a key energy powerhouse of the East Coast, is now in a small minority of states that do not have this type of structure. That means new projects that our energy grid badly need to produce more energy in Pennsylvania have to go through all kinds of multiple authorities at the local, county, and state level to get the permits and certifications they need in order to begin work. That process gets bogged down and it takes too long. I know a little something about speeding up government. It's been a cause of the work of the Shapiro Davis administration in our first 2 years. We've sped up permitting times. We've eliminated backlogs. We are getting folks answers in a timely manner. Help, we've got a money-back guarantee if we don't give you your permit on time now. And we do so all in a predictable way. So industry and labor and everybody else knows how long it will take to get your permit in Pennsylvania now. We've reformed our permitting process, but now we need to take the next big step to build out our critical energy infrastructure. Folks have been talking about this in the Capitol for years. It is time to get this done. I'm proposing that we create the Pennsylvania Reliable Energy Siting and Electric Transition Board, also just known as the RESET Board. RESET is going to speed up deliberations, give its members the power to sign off on qualifying projects straight away. And by bypassing so many of the hoops we make them jump through in order to start a project, we're going to give people predictability, less frustration, and projects will be done on time. We need shovels in the ground now, not in years to come. Third, my plan proposes direct steps to keep energy costs and electric bills down for families and communities. We build on that by updating Pennsylvania's energy efficiency programs that our utilities use to save energy and keep costs down for consumers. Those standards actually require utilities to provide rebates to encourage you to purchase more efficient equipment and appliances. So when you go buy that new refrigerator, install a heat pump in your home to reduce your utility bill, there will now be more money available in rebates going back to consumers, encouraging efficiency and putting money back in Pennsylvanians' pockets. The standards that we rely on today to give people those rebates haven't been updated in 17 years. Folks have been talking about it for a while. Let's get this done right now. Fourth, my plan includes a new community energy proposal to empower local communities to band together to share energy resources. I've seen this firsthand in our rural communities with farmers who have banded together to put anaerobic digesters together to create energy in their communities. This works. It's exciting in our rural communities. It puts people to work and it creates energy sources that are clean, accessible, and affordable. So we need to make sure more of this gets done across our rural communities in Pennsylvania or even our suburban and urban communities. Take Moon Township. For example, if you don't want to have to install a solar panel on your roof here, you want to get a share of a solar field nearby, under my plan, you'll be able to buy into that. We want our communities to band together for options that they want in their neighborhoods, options that are affordable, accessible, clean, and green. Together, this will lower costs and create more freedom to choose the energy of your choice in your community. Fifth, my plan reintroduces my proposal from last year to create Pennsylvania's Reliable Energy Sustainable Standard known as press. I believe our Commonwealth's energy independence relies on both the natural gas underneath our feet, as well as our ability to create pathways to more renewables across Pennsylvania. The press initiative updates our energy standards, expands the tiers of what kinds of energy sources can qualify, not by pushing any out, but by increasing access to more. With press, we're creating a new market for clean energy without putting anyone out of work, by setting realistic clean energy goals that encourage new investment and make us more competitive in the clean energy economy. Clean energy doesn't mean putting people out of work. It means creating more jobs, creating more opportunities, and creating more of a legacy of energy leadership here in Pennsylvania. Sixth, and finally, my plan calls on the legislature to reintroduce and pass the Pennsylvania Climate Emissions Reduction Initiative, which was known as PACER. In the working group that we brought together successfully, we understood that we needed a cap and invest system, but one that was Pennsylvania-based, built for Pennsylvania, by Pennsylvanians. That's the best path forward for Pennsylvania. This plan is tailored for our Commonwealth. We're not going to take direction from anyone outside this Commonwealth. The initiative will be established by us, run by us, and to the benefit of our fellow Pennsylvanians. We'll set our own cap and set our own prices for those carbon credits. We won't have other states determining what's right for us here in Pennsylvania. Look, I know there's some out there who have spent years just simply complaining about RGGI, something that was started by my predecessor. I have concerns about RGGI too. I've been very vocal about that. And hear me on this. The quickest way out of RGGI is to pass my plan, to pass PACER, to pass a plan that is based in Pennsylvania and for Pennsylvania. Because if the legislature does that, I will sign it into law and immediately remove the Commonwealth from RGGI. Hear me on this. We are powerful enough to run our own system that will lower costs, create jobs, and take meaningful action to address climate change. This is common sense, and you can tell by how it's brought people together to embrace this approach. And listen, while I welcome different ideas to the table, suggestions from others, Democrats and Republicans alike, we can no longer afford inaction. Simply firing off a press release doesn't actually get people more affordable energy. It doesn't actually put people to work. Now is the time for action. And doing nothing is no longer an option here in Pennsylvania. There are real consequences to doing nothing. If those who propose to complain and do nothing have their way, well, consumers are going to end up paying more for electricity. We'll lose the chance to create 15,000 new jobs all across our Commonwealth. If folks continue to do nothing, we'll probably experience more pollution and more damage in our communities. If legislators choose to do nothing, they're actually choosing to be less competitive. They're choosing to let other states pass us by. I get that there are some politicians out there who are just reflexively against anything I'm for. I understand how this business works, but it's time for them to cut it out, to put Pennsylvania first, to make progress, to create jobs, to be hungry and competitive the way I am and the way I know all of you are. Let's channel that spirit of Ben Franklin again. Let's channel that spirit of those coal miners and those who worked in our oil fields, those who came before us, who understood this hunger to be competitive, who had a desire to lead and to win, as I certainly do here in Pennsylvania. The spirit of the innovators and the entrepreneurs who are creating new sources of clean energy right now in Pennsylvania. Let's follow their lead. My lightning plan will do just that. I welcome every side bringing their ideas to the table. but the time of inaction is over. The time for action is right now. Let's get this done, Pennsylvania. I want to thank you for being here today. We understand that to move our energy economy forward, we've got to work as a team at the federal, state, and local level. And one of our important partners in that at the federal level joins us here today. Please welcome Congressman Chris Deluzio. Thank you all very much. See you.
Thank you. Well, Governor, thank you. It's a powerful group that you have convened to do this, and I'm proud to play my part from the federal government to see leadership here at the airport, labor and industry together. That takes your leadership to do, and congratulations. I'd be remiss to not, as we sit here at the airport in my district, talk about the tragedy in Washington. I know others have talked about it as well. I can assure you that both of my committees, the Armed Services Committee and the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, will be exercising full oversight and digging into what happened and what can be done to prevent this, again, both for our military and for commercial travel. But Governor, again, thank you for convening so many of us here today. You talked about the fight you took on, that you and your administration took on against a grid operator that would have jacked up prices for Pennsylvanians. You take those fights and you got to win them. And we need those fights from Harrisburg, we need those fights from Washington, and the governor's leadership there was key to keeping costs down for folks. I see my colleagues who serve in the state house, here in Harrisburg. Their offices, I'm sure, like mine. We get calls from people all the time upset about rising costs, upset about energy bills. We got to have action from Governor Shapiro, and he needs support from folks in Washington to keep costs down. Pennsylvania has been a leader for a long time, empowering this country of ours. We got to keep that up. That happens with leadership from Harrisburg, like you've heard today, and it happens with the workers whose jobs are on the line being ready to do the work, and I know that they are. And I reject this idea that we have to choose between good, solid union jobs or whether we're going to have clean air and clean water. We can have both of those things. This coalition the governor has assembled shows us that we can do that. We can grow our economy, we can keep energy costs down, we can have good, solid union jobs, we can protect our air and water. It takes action like this plan, this lightning plan. I'm excited to see it kick off. I will do everything I can to support it from Washington. The governor mentioned sustainable aviation fuel, what that could be here. That requires federal action on tax credits, on the 45E tax credit and other action that we have to defend, that I'm going to defend, as there are executive orders going after the Inflation Reduction Act, for instance, where that tax credit comes from, going after federal infrastructure spending. We're going to hold the line as best we can to make sure that the federal money that we need, the federal tax incentives that we need to make a plan like this succeed, are going to still be there for Pennsylvania. So, Governor, I'm in to help in any way that I can. And I believe I'm bringing up from the building trades, Greg Bernarding.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg.
Governor. Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everyone. It is still morning, isn't it? Cold.
It is a little chilly. You want my coat, or you all right?
No, I'll bust out of that.
Yeah, you're a tough guy. You're all right.
No, I'm cold. Thank you, Congressman Deluzio, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Bernarding. I'm the Executive Business Manager of the Pittsburgh Regional Building Trades. My top priority, as well as all these labor leaders you see here in the audience, is to procure work for our members. Pennsylvania, and particularly here in Pittsburgh and the surrounding areas, have been leaders in energy production for generations. Energy jobs are good, family-sustaining jobs. However, the closing of several coal-fired power plants has really put a strain on some of our members and some of our local unions. No longer do we see the shutdowns and repairs that we used to count on to bring work hours into our unions. It's long past time that Pennsylvania unites behind an energy strategy and incentivizes growth, creates good-paying union jobs while keeping costs low for people with their children and their grandchildren safe and healthy. Lately, it seems there have been several major projects proposed. We've heard talking about the sustainable jet fuel to create energy for hardworking men and women of the building trades work, but it seems we encounter roadblock after roadblock. One example being the capture of the fugitive coal mine methane, converting it into hydrogen, and that into jet fuel, which I believe it would decrease every flight's carbon footprint by 80%. I mean, that's a win-win for everyone. We're looking forward to that. While people have talked about it, Governor Shapiro has acted, and by putting his concrete ideas on the table, he shows us he is committed to getting something done on energy. We need more energy, not less. Renewable energy sources only provide about 5% of energy from the grid, from the PJM that we heard earlier. We know that the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. We know that, Pittsburgh Building Trades knows that, and Governor Shapiro knows that. We need leadership like the likes of the governor who are committed to working across the aisle to put energy first. We, the building trades, are excited by the prospect of a plan that creates thousands of good-paying union jobs, and we look forward to working with the governor and partners in legislature on a statewide strategy that solidifies Pennsylvania as the rightful energy powerhouse in the United States. So we look forward to working with you, Governor. Excited about the plan.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah, good stuff. At this time, I'd like to bring up Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis.
All right.
Thanks, Governor.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here with my governing partner, Josh Shapiro. Thank you, Christina, for hosting us today, and for Congressman DeLuzio for your leadership in Washington. And it's great to see so many leaders from the Pittsburgh Building Trades to President Greg Bernarding and Labor Council President Darren Kelly, as well as members of the business community. You know, many of you know I grew up about 30 miles from here in a small former steel town called McKeesport. I literally grew up in the shadow of the steel mills that helped build this country, that helped America win 2 wars, that provided jobs for thousands of men and women. The governor and I want us to build on our energy legacy and use it to power a better future for all of Pennsylvania. I have a daughter, and I want her to grow up in a better environment than I had growing up. I want her to live in a community with clean air and clean water. And we don't have to give that up to create good-paying, family-sustaining jobs for the future. But none of this is going to happen without action. And that action has to be collaborative. Our administration is working with our friends in labor as well as the business community. We're working with environmental advocates as well as consumers to bring people together. We want to bring together elected leaders at the federal level, the state level, and the local level. And we hope that folks can take off their red jerseys and their blue jerseys and to put on the Pennsylvania jersey, because our Commonwealth's future is at stake. We saw what happened here when the steel industry collapsed. It literally took Western Pennsylvania decades to recover economically, and in many ways, we're still recovering. We can't sit around and wait to see what happens with AI, with robotics, and with advanced manufacturing. We need to build out our energy infrastructure. We need to power those industries right now here in Pennsylvania, because we're not just competing with Ohio or New York. We're competing with China and India and the EU. This is the arms race of our lifetime, and we're in it to win it here in Pennsylvania. That's why our lightning plan is so important. And so I hope all of you will join with us in making sure that we can put this plan into action and get it passed at the Capitol. It's my pleasure to bring up someone who's been a significant partner for us, not just here in Allegheny County, but across this Commonwealth, my friend, the CEO of the Allegheny Conference, Stephanie Pashman.
Good morning. Staying warm out there? It is a real honor to stand here today with Governor Shapiro and Lieutenant Governor Davis and many, many of our key partners who share our belief that Southwestern Pennsylvania will lead the future of energy in both production and innovation. Our economic prosperity, as well as our ability to achieve this vision, rely on availability of energy, affordability, and grid reliability. And we are very much appreciative of the governor's announcement today of his leadership in this space. Today, as we all know, we are standing at a crossroads of achieving a bright energy future. And what's needed to propel this vision is a state public policy framework, as the governor describes, both for the substantive conditions it will create, as well as the signal it will send to the market that we are open for investment. We stand ready to partner with the governor and all elected officials to create this all-of-the-above energy plan. The Allegheny Conference is focused on energy as a key part of our agenda for two important reasons. First, because of the urgent threat you heard about that's presented by the looming grid reliability and cost issues. But second, because of the enormous economic development opportunity we have if we leverage our key strengths, such as abundant natural gas and extensive nuclear technologies that not only allow us to generate the much-needed baseload energy, but also to position us for growth. We need more energy to attract jobs to this region, to fuel technologies of the future, and to make sure communities can keep their lights on. While every other region in the country shares this challenge, southwestern Pennsylvania is best positioned to lead. We know how to build and operate power plants. We do it faster, and we can due to the existing generation and transmission infrastructure we have here. It can be repurposed rather than abandoned, and we have the experience, we have the workforce, and we have committed leadership. The Hydrogen and SAF Hub is one example of how intentional and inspired public-private collaboration can strategically focus on leveraging unique strengths and capabilities of this region and position us and the Commonwealth for a national and global strategy and being a leader and while strengthening our regional economy. And I want to join everyone in applauding the Hub, Christina, Greg Bernarding, Darren Kelly, and our partner Nick Diolius, and all the teams who have been working in this space. Leading in advanced nuclear is another crucial area where Pennsylvania can compete with other states for economic development projects and, of course, a leadership position. With consistent power generation, advanced nuclear offers exceptional grid reliability, load, and the stability that our nation depends on. With deep know-how and unparalleled technical, intellectual, and physical assets literally in our backyard, doing nothing is not an option. You just heard the governor say it. We have the privilege of strong partnerships with first movers, like Westinghouse, like IBEW, like Duquesne Light, like First Energy, like Vistra, and like Constellation, who you'll hear from in a moment. They are paving the way. We were the birthplace of nuclear power generation, and leading deployment of the new nuclear is our birthright. To make this happen, we look forward to partnering, of course, with the Shapiro administration, all of our elected officials, our partners, to establish the policy frameworks that accelerate this work. Permitting, infrastructure, incentives to attract first movers, and regulatory certainty will stimulate investment. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, for sending that message today, for acknowledging an urgent need to action. We encourage this deep collaboration. It is the time for energy is now, and the place is southwestern Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Go ahead.
My fault. I'm messing up the remarks here.
I was covering for you.
You're covering for me. Look at that. David Dardis. I'd like to bring up my new friend, David Dardis, who's the Executive Vice President of Constellation Energy, who will share his remarks. Thank you.
I had you covered.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Appreciate it. No problem. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, thank you, Governor Shapiro, for your leadership and working with Constellation and so many others on this important legislative package. As you discussed, Pennsylvania has been blessed for such a long time with abundant and affordable energy. And what you are proposing today will support Pennsylvania's position of strength for the next decade and beyond. And that can't be more important, it never has been more important than it is today as Pennsylvania competes in the new data economy. We are particularly grateful for your work and your administration's work with us and the dialogue we have had over the many months and the last couple of years, and for your ask for our input on how to meet the Commonwealth's future energy challenges and opportunities. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the fact that this does not happen in all the states in which we operate, so we are very grateful for that collaboration. We are especially encouraged by the output of this work. It identifies ways in which the Commonwealth can support energy security, but also preserve the competitive markets, which have served customers in Pennsylvania so well for so long. Constellation is proud to be part of the solution. As many know, beginning last year, we announced the launch and the restart of the Crane Clean Energy Center. This project will add 835 megawatts of clean, reliable power to the grid. It will provide thousands of high-skilled labor jobs during the construction phase, and it will add more than 650 well-paying full-time jobs once that facility is in operation. With the governor's proposal announced here today, Constellation will have new opportunities to explore growth through generation uprates at our existing facilities, as well as explore opportunities for adding new megawatts to the grid. Those opportunities will create new jobs, protect consumers and the environment, and support our competitive markets. We're so very grateful to be part of this solution. And with that, I want to say we are excited to continue our partnership with the Commonwealth and this administration. And I thank you again, Governor, for all of your support.
Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce State Representative Rob Matzey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Joe, wish you could be here. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, glad to get
Thank
that
you.
done.
Thank you. Thanks, Governor. Thank you, David. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. The lightning plan, the Shapiro Davis administration's plan. You know, prior to this session, I was the standing majority chairman of a committee, Consumer Protection Technology and Utilities Committee. Many energy products came through that office and through that committee, and many people in this room came into my office, stakeholders from the business community, stakeholders from organized labor. And we got stuff done, as the governor likes to say. That's the G version. We got stuff done last term. The hydrogen bill that we were able to get passed, working with Senator Gene Yaw, a Democrat and a Republican. I had the Democrat bill, Senator Yaw had the Republican bill. I said, I don't care whose name's on the bill. They took our input, we put our language into that bill, we came to a conclusion, and we got that done. That was a big deal and shows how we can work. But the key ingredient for today for me is jobs, jobs, jobs. And more energy means cheaper energy. The clean energy isn't taking from anything, it's adding. You know, the environment and taking advantage of our natural resources are not mutually exclusive. As we have all said here today, it is important that more energy equals more jobs, equals more money, equals better schools, equals lower bills. The proposal for this session mirrors my bill from last session dealing with sustainable aviation fuel, a bill we thought we might be able to get done before the conclusion of last session. I'm glad to hear the administration adding this to their energy plan, the lightning plan, and this term we're going to get it done. You know, is my role in the majority now as a member of leadership does not mean I will leave the energy sector as part of the policies that I push for. I'll remain the co-chairman of the Nuclear Caucus, and we've talked to Constellation and Vistra about what we need to do here in Pennsylvania. And again, it always comes back to jobs. Jobs with benefits and safe workplaces and paid leave and a chance to retire. Look, our building, trades, and workforce is second to none. And the Lightning Plan is a blueprint for Pennsylvania to expand our all-energy approach. And I stand ready to work with Governor Shapiro and all stakeholders to get it done. So again, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words here today. Governor, we're ready to roll up our sleeves and get it done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to introduce one of those stakeholders we worked with last session, Jackson Morris. Jackson, please come up.
I guess it's still morning, and I'm batting cleanup, so I'll keep this quick. I'm sure everybody's freezing out there. Jackson Morris, I'm the director of the state power sector work for NRDC, and in that role, I have the privilege of working with a great team of folks across over a dozen states. So it gives me kind of a unique perspective on various governors' efforts and different legislative efforts in the energy space. And I can say with 100% confidence that this Lightning Plan is one of the most ambitious packages we've seen in some time. But before I touch on the plan today, I do want to go back to yesterday because I've been doing this over 15 years, and I've seen PJM eat governors alive. I've never seen PJM blink, and yesterday they blinked. And of those dozen states, Pennsylvania holds a special place because I live in Union County. It's personal. It's it's where I call home. And so, when Governor Shapiro assembled the working group that he mentioned over a year and a half ago, I was honored to have the chance to work with a very diverse group of stakeholders, some of which are here. My friend Sean Steffi's in the crowd, John Walliser from PEC, among others. That was one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire career, to see folks from corners that are typically not talking to each other, not understanding perspectives from business, industry, labor, environmental groups, consumer groups. Bringing them together was something I have never seen in my career. And I think this package reflects a lot of those interests in the fact that Governor Shapiro was able to bring together those interests to work together and try to find a common vision to move the state forward. This plan checks all the boxes of an ambitious platform. It's got accelerated siting so we can speed up the deployment of clean energy. It has, with the PACER structure in place, we can cap pollution and generate billions of dollars for reinvestments in communities. With PRESS, we can scale up to have at least 35% renewable energy by 2035. Energy efficiency is one of my favorite issues to talk about, even though it sounds kind of boring to some folks. But as Governor Shapiro mentioned, the platform we have in Pennsylvania is long overdue to be updated, and the reforms that are going to be put forward will allow homes, businesses, folks across the Commonwealth to capture more energy savings, put more money in their pocketbooks, and reduce pollution. It's kind of hard to argue against that. So with that, although it is kind of sunny right now, it's a lot warmer up here. I feel better already. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap up and just say, NRDC and all of our partners are really excited about this platform, and we're jazzed to really work to get this done this session. So thank you, Governor.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to take a few questions from the media, but I want us to not lose sight of something Jackson said. Jackson leads a major environmental organization, the Natural Resources Defense Council. And he talked about his friend, he used that word friend, Sean Steffi, the leader of the Boilermakers. Both came to the table to have a conversation about the future of an energy policy in Pennsylvania because both were motivated to deal with a threat that they saw. Follow me on this. The threat that brought Jackson to the table was the threat of dealing with climate change. The threat, and Sean, I hope I can speak for you on this, the threat that brought Sean to the table was the existential threat facing Boilermakers who are being forced out of their work. I gave Sean my word that I was going to be there for Boilermakers and other trades across Pennsylvania. I gave Jackson and others my word that we were going to be there to both create jobs and protect our planet. The fact that these gentlemen and others who served on this committee were willing to take a little risk, willing to be open about the threats that they faced and work together to find common ground, that's the Pennsylvania way. We need more of that in our politics. At a moment where everything feels so hyper-polarized, we're showing how here in Pennsylvania we can come together with common purpose. And I truly want to thank the folks who helped lead to this lightning plan, the people from industry and labor, environmental groups, and others who worked with us on this. I'm truly grateful to you. And I'm especially grateful to two leaders in my administration who brought everyone together and who kept people at the table talking the whole time. And that's Amanda Warren and Sam Robinson from our team who do extraordinary work. I'm very, very thankful to them. And with that, I'd be happy to take a few questions from the media, and then we'll all let you go get warmed up here.
Hi, Governor. It's Ryan.
Yes.
It's Ryan Dito from Axios.
Everybody was excited that there were no questions.
I'm so sorry, guys. I have a two-parter. So you said
you get one question, but if you biked here, I'll give you two.
I didn't bike here, unfortunately.
You get one then.
Okay, I'll get one. Is there any impact that the potential funding freeze will have on a plan like this from the president? Does that impact any of this?
Well, look, let's see. My administration's looking at the various EOs that the president has signed. I think the president cares about investing in Pennsylvania. I hope he'll continue to invest in Pennsylvania, build on the investments that were made before, and ensure that we can be energy powerhouses all across the country. Okay. Thank you all very much.
Oh, sorry, one more question. Sorry. At the beginning of the
Apologize, I didn't see you.
You're good. At the beginning of the press conference, you mentioned the emergency in D.C. involving the American Airlines plane and the Black Hawk helicopter. Can you speak to any concerns this raises in regards to air traffic control systems or aviation infrastructure in Pennsylvania specifically?
I'm not gonna get ahead of the regulators and others who are carefully investigating this in D.C. I think they should speak to any issues surrounding that, and we'll let them lead first on that. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Okay.
Us to partner with companies and organizations that share that transformational vision, and with governments. And that includes our efforts to produce sustainable aviation fuel on-site here at Pittsburgh International Airport, increasing SAF, especially hydrogen production in the U.S. is a necessary first step to reduce carbon output developed. Pittsburgh International has pursued multiple pathways for on-site production of SAF, including through the very important partnerships with CNX and Key State Energy. This work will drive the economy. Job growth, use of existing feedstock, unparalleled technology, and all of the logistical ingredients needed. The development of SAF allows us to work toward deeper decarbonization of the region and improving overall air quality. Pennsylvania, particularly the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
Thank you, Christina. It's not every day you get to be introduced by the Pittsburgher of the Year, right? Congratulations. I want to begin on the same note that Christina did. Today is a somber day in America. Obviously, this tragic incident in Washington, D.C. has caused us all to pause and pray. And Lori and I send our prayer to the family for getting an average of a 30% increase on your bill. We need more generation here in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, right now, PJM is only one piece of it. Without action from our legislature, Pennsylvania can't fully capitalize on our strong position that other states are moving on and trying to catch up to us on. Other states have put new policies in place that protect and create energy jobs, spur innovation, attract investment in data centers and EVs and much more. And they're doing it all in a way that protects public health. Pennsylvania, it's time for us to be more competitive. It's time for us to act. We need to take some done. I'm proposing that we create the Pennsylvania Reliable Energy Siting and Electric Transition Board, also just known as the RESET Board. RESET is going to speed up delivery. We need shovels in the ground now, not in years to come. Third, my plan proposes direct. Fourth, my plan includes we are powerful enough to run our own system that will lower costs, create jobs, and take meaningful action.
She's great. She's getting big. She's like walking, talking.